Records smashed as unbearable humidity blankets the southeast. Rain and storms now on their way. Dozens trapped in rising floodwaters. The dramatic rescue in the state's north as the cyclone cleanup begins. While Queensland police are playing the role of paramedics. The warning from firefighters as flames destroy a Brisbane home. And 50 marathons in 50 days. The incredible mission for a worthy cause.
This is 9 News Queensland with Mia Glover.
Good evening. As we go to air tonight, Queensland is cooking. Stifling humidity gripping the southeast, smashing 20-year records in some areas. Widespread heatwave warnings are in place, but many are still braving the blistering conditions to make the most of the long weekend.
The Gabba on game day, where scorching temperatures tested fans' loyalty.
Hopefully that cool breeze comes.
Is it really worth it?
Well, we were here yesterday as well.
Leaving the nearest pubs never been harder. Couldn't have picked a worse day to move house.
It's like, come on, keep moving, keep moving.
Or build one, for that matter.
Yeah, it's hot, eh?
Barbecuers feeling the burn, spare a thought for the baristas of Brisbane and those committed locals keeping themselves accountable as the mercury soared.
Felt like 100% humidity when we started.
If you weren't sure how bad it got, these guys can tell you.
I'm dying from the weather. Barely staying cool. It's pretty hot.
And this has been exacerbated by the fact of those very high humidity levels.
That humidity making it feel like 40.2 degrees in the River City today, even though the temperature only reached 34.9. It was Queensland's second highest day for electricity demand on record.
So very, very hot, oppressive conditions.
Ipswich sweltered through 36 degrees. There was little relief on the Gold Coast, and Birdsville topped the state once again. If you struggled to sleep last night, you weren't alone. Temperatures didn't dip below 27 degrees in Brisbane, making it our hottest night since 2017. Coolangatta hit a 20-year record, and this evening won't be much better. A heatwave warning remains in place for much of Queensland until Tuesday. Abby Guerin, 9 News.
Straight to Bronte Gildea now on the Gold Coast. Bronte, good evening to you. From one extreme to another, we're about to get some heavy rain.
Yeah, we are, Mia. As we've just heard from Abby, we're expecting that heat to subside in the coming days with the introduction of some heavy falls that are on the way. Now, ex-tropical cyclone Kirrily is currently sitting at the northern interior, creating some problems for people around the Cloncurry Longreach area because of the heavy falls over a very short period of time. Now, that trough extends all the way down to us here in southeast Queensland, and it is a very slow-moving trough. So any storms that we see will be hovering over the coast for quite an extended period of time, putting us at risk of heavy falls and potentially flash flooding.
Certainly localised falls of 100 mil plus possible daily during Monday and Tuesday, depending on how that trough evolves. Some of the models suggest Tuesday has been potentially the wettest day, with that trough lingering near the coast.
Exactly what's next for ex-tropical cyclone Kirrily, we're still unsure whether it moves west or moves south as it dissipates, but I would encourage people to keep their eye on the forecast, Mia, because it is a quickly changing one.
Yeah, it certainly is. Bronte, we'll check in with you later. Thank you. To North Queensland now, where the cyclone cleanup is well underway and the lights are slowly coming back on. But after avoiding catastrophe in the eye of the storm, it was the aftermath that brought the chaos. An emergency rescue carried out with the help of locals last night.
Trapped by rising floodwaters, rescued just in time.
Everyone's safe over there.
14 people, including 4 children, one a 2-year-old girl. Swiftwater rescue crews called in, but in the end it was local pilot Wayne Pritchard in his mustering chopper who plucked them all to safety. Preventing what could have been a senseless tragedy, they were sightseeing and shouldn't have been there.
It is really, really disappointing to see that people are still maintaining the fact that are still actively trying to enter these floodwaters.
Thankfully, that's the only emergency rescue in the aftermath of Kirrily. In Townsville today, with widespread power outages, it was police traffic control, and along the Strand, the mammoth clean-up underway. Hard work made harder by the North Queensland heat.
They're doing pretty good coming out here in the hot weather.
Much appreciated, mate. Really much appreciated.
Townsville's prisoners put to work at the local animal sanctuary. And this morning, an army in yellow mobilised, fuelled by a barbecue breakfast joined by the Premier. Before getting to work. The key focus remains restoring power right across North Queensland, and here in Townsville, crews have managed to get the lights back on at more than 20,000 homes in the space of 24 hours.
So we're hoping to have the majority of our customers restored with power over the next 2 days.
For those still in the dark, it's a very warm waiting game.
It's been shocking so far, yeah. We've had like a pool set up and stuff, and but even that got too hot at one point. We're at the Strand this evening, and I can tell you it looks very different to how it looked yesterday. Council workers have done an incredible job today clearing the many trees and branches that were scattered right across the area here. Now, here in Townsville this evening, as we go to air, there are still 33,000 homes and businesses without power. That's a lot, but it really could be a lot worse. Ergon Energy crews have done an exceptional job today and have actually managed to restore power to more than 30,000 customers ever since the cyclone hit. There is good news for those affected too, because the state and federal government today announced those disaster relief payments are now available to apply for online. Individuals can claim up to $180 and a family of 5 can claim up to $900 for loss of essential food and items in the home as a result of those power outages. Mia, very good news for them, and the information for those grants can be found on the website on the screen.
Jacob, thank you. The Premier has defended using police to plug holes in our hospitals and health services. A series of incidents tonight shining a spotlight on how Queensland officers have been called in, sometimes for days on end, pulling resources away from the front line.
It's no secret our agencies are suffering in the labour shortage.
Police are crying out for more. Frontline health staff are demanding a fix to a broken system.
Now there's proof just how it's impacting the front line.
Of course, we know all our services get busy from time to time, but they do work well together.
The opposition's accessed police documents for the first time, showing dozens of cases in the past 2 years where frontline officers have been tied up filling in for health workers. In one incident, police had to guard a suspect in hospital for 6 days because there were no correctional staff available. In another case, police were asked to keep watch of a patient suffering mental health issues in a car for 8 hours because no hospital bed was available.
Police sign up to help keep the community safe, to fight crime. They don't want to plug holes because of a broken health system.
Well, it is their job and it's part of their job, and I know that our police and our emergency services and our hospital workers, they all work together.
The alarming details only came to light through a right to information request, but it took a number of attempts and an appeal to access that information. Government ministers point out these incidents date back more than 18 months ago, and health resources have since been bolstered.
These documents are a collision course of a failing health system.
More and more police call-outs for our hard-working police on the beat involve mental health.
Josh Bavis, 9 News.
After years of planning, a $100 million mental health facility, has now opened in Ipswich. The 64-bed centre will provide a space for vulnerable patients who require intensive clinical care. It also features a recreational area as part of a new wellbeing and recovery strategy. The Prime Minister has joined the condemnation of a group of more than 60 far-right extremists who attempted to hijack an Australia Day rally before being intercepted by waiting police at a North Sydney train station.
Say to these people, quite frankly, have a good look at yourself. There is nothing to be got in this country through hatred.
It comes as calls grow for stronger laws to crack down on hate speech and symbols. Still ahead on 9 News, suburban inferno, the warning from firefighters after flames tore through a Brisbane family home. Then the man behind the mask arrested over this chilling armed robbery. And 50 marathons in 50 days. We're at the finish line as the fundraising journey comes to an emotional end.
9 News, brought to you by Stan.
A Brisbane family has lost everything after their home went up in flames overnight. The inferno, believed to have been ignited by an e-scooter battery, prompting a serious warning from firefighters.
Firefighters locked in a frantic fight to hold back flames and save a family's home. The calls for help came at 6:30 last night.
We received a 000 call stating that a lithium battery had ignited in a scooter.
Starting in the garage, the fire quickly spread to the rest of the home. A family dinner in full swing when the blaze broke out.
And then they were running out, and then we sort of clicked that there must have been a fire. Is everyone okay?
Just devastated. I couldn't believe it was happening, you know.
The glow of the flames lit up the sky as toxic smoke billowed from the house. It took firefighters hours to bring it under control. Still at the scene this morning, extinguishing hotspots. The house has been left completely destroyed. Relatives today telling 9 News it had been in their family for around 70 years.
It's extensive. The house is going to have to be demolished. There's nothing savable.
Just shocked, absolutely shocked. It was such a lovely family who lived here. You don't expect this sort of thing to happen.
Concerningly, it was the second southeast home yesterday to go up in flames, suspected to have been ignited by lithium-ion batteries.
I'm talking personally here. I don't believe the technology is good enough, but it is a concern. People need to be conscious that they take precautions when charging lithium batteries, whether it's for solar, e-bikes, cars.
Meg Sides, 9 News.
Overseas now, and a day after testifying in his own defence, Donald Trump has been ordered to pay more than $120 million to a woman he sexually abused and defamed. E. Jean Carroll branded the day a victory for women, saying it's a huge defeat for every bully who has tried to keep a woman down. Meantime, the former president left the court before the verdict could be read out, blasting the jury and vowing to appeal. Back home, and a 39-year-old man has been charged over a terrifying armed robbery at Holland Park late last year. The thief caught on camera storming the business in a clown mask, threatening a staff member with a gun, then fleeing with cash. Thanks to information provided by the public, the alleged offender was arrested in Mount Gravatt East and faced court today. A whole lot of running with a whole lot of heart. Melbourne teacher Tom Price crossed the finish line this morning, conquering 50 marathons in 50 days and raising $100,000 for babies needing neonatal intensive care. The inspiration behind the feat, his niece Sylvie, by his side for the emotional finale.
It's not about me, it's about these babies, about these family members and about these nurses and doctors in the NICU.
Good on you, Tom. Well, chasing the Queensland dream. In a 9 News property special, we break down the southeast hotspots, drawing in house hunters from across the country and even the globe. That's just moments away. But first, Jonathan Uptin is live at Melbourne Park for us. Evening, Jono, and a Grand Slam champion will be crowned there tonight.
And as you would expect, Mia, excitement is building with the Australian Open women's final about to get underway. Also tonight, the Queenslander on court aiming to follow in the footsteps of Ash Barty. And the flip side at the Gabba Test as the West Indies bound towards an unlikely victory.
9 News, brought to you by Australia's #1 selling vehicle, Ford Ranger.
Good evening, live from Melbourne Park, where the women's finalists are about to be called to Rod Laver Arena, every point straight after the news. Daniil Medvedev has just completed a training session here ahead of tomorrow's men's decider. The Russian booked a date with Yannick Sinner, coming from 2 sets down against Alexander Zverev, who blamed his collapse on illness. And remember this name, Queenslander Emerson Jones. The 15-year-old Gold Coast was trying to become our first junior Grand Slam winner since Ash Barty in 2011, but fell to older, top-seeded opponent Renata Yamrikova. The Gabba Test hangs in the balance tonight. The West Indies pushing their lead close to 200 runs with 4 wickets still in hand during their second innings. Some quick thinking from Travis Head secured a crucial run out for the hosts a short time ago. Usman Khawaja top scored with 75 in Australia's first innings. His dismissal, the maiden Test wicket for Windy spinner Kevin Sinclair, who couldn't contain his jubilation, celebrating with a backflip. An unorthodox approach also adopted by the Aussie women on the way to beating South Africa by 8 wickets in the first match of their T20 series. The Bullets have crashed back to earth in front of a sold-out home crowd, beaten by ladder leaders Melbourne United 93-77. Joe Lual-Achul starred for the visitors, banking 33 points, 13 rebounds and 3 steals in a 23-minute masterclass off the bench. Jakara Anthony has wrapped up the mogul skiing overall World Cup crown with 2 events to go. The Aussie has dominated this season with 9 victories so far, her latest in New Hampshire overnight, wrapping up her first Crystal Globe. And Queensland teenager Tori Lewis now owns the title of fastest woman in Australian history, breaking the national 100-metre sprint record in Canberra by crossing the line in 11.1 seconds at the ACT Open. So expect to see her at the Paris Olympics. Mia, the women's final, then it's the men's doubles final featuring Aussie Matt Ebden.
Oh, so excited. Thanks, Jono. And Bronte's back with a check on the weather. And Bronte, it's still a warm one out there at the moment, isn't it?
It is a steamy one, Mia. 28 degrees here in Palm Beach, but feeling more like 32. How long is it going to hang around for? I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
For everyone chasing the Australian dream, Queensland is officially the place to be. Tonight, we can reveal the southeast hotspots drawing in house hunters from interstate and also around the world.
Sun, surf and spectacular views. The Gold Coast has some of the hottest property in the country.
We have all of the sorts of facilities that you want in a city like, but nowhere near the size. Perfect place to be.
And buyers right now across Australia are taking note. In the last year, the Gold Coast was the most searched location in the country among interstate buyers, with Surfers Paradise topping the list.
Broadbeach is also highly searched, but bit by bit we're starting to see suburbs that people weren't so familiar with.
New PopTrack data shows Palm Beach recording a 35% jump in searches over the last year, followed by Coolangatta with a 28% increase.
A lot of the movement up here of people downsizing out of big homes in Sydney or Melbourne and coming up here and wanting really upmarket stylish apartments.
For overseas buyers and expats, Brisbane City is the place to be, followed by Toowong and St Lucia.
We've definitely seen an increase of people coming over from especially the UK.
The top international searches coming from New Zealand, the UK and America. Removalist and expat himself, John Ramage, says they're all chasing one thing.
I do think that the job prospects at the moment seem a lot better in Australia. I think people are always looking to improve their lifestyle. Everyone is looking for that Australian dream.
Yasmin Bennell, 9 News.
Time now for your full weather forecast with Bronte Gildea. And Bronte, how long will these steamy conditions stick around for?
Certainly until Monday, Mia. We were expecting an afternoon storm to cool us off today, but sadly it didn't eventuate. We will have some storms around likely in the coming days, so we'll keep you updated with that as they do come. But first, let's take a look at some of the temperatures, these heatwave temperatures across the southeast today. Some pretty uncomfortable numbers here. The Gold Coast 33, Redcliffe 35, the same in the city, Gatton 37, Amberley 38, and up on the Sunshine Coast 34 degrees. Taking a look at the map now, we're seeing that wet weather being generated for the northern interior by ex-tropical cyclone Kirrily, pushing the showers and storms down to the southeast corner. In the capitals tomorrow, high pressure ridges keeping the west pretty dry, sunny and 28 in Adelaide. Blue skies for Melbourne and the country's capital, while Sydney might have some showers. A top of 27 forecast there. And for you in Darwin, lots of heavy rain, up to 60 millimetres in some parts. Back at home and up north, it'll be more showers and the chance of a storm for Cairns, with temperatures in the mid-30s. Pretty much the entire central Queensland coast should plan for storms as well. Roma dropping from 40 back down to 30 tomorrow. Down here in southeast Queensland, the Bureau is forecasting a high chance of showers and storms in most places. Noosa 31 degrees, Gatton 29, at around Redcliffe 30, Ipswich 30 as well, and 30 for us here on on the Gold Coast. Out on the bay tomorrow, north to northwesterly winds tending southeasterly 10 to 15 knots in the evening. Seas will be about a metre and a half. For the city tomorrow, a low of 26 and a top of 30 during the day. A little cooler than what we saw today, but still sweltering showers and storms are on the cards. The heat wave looking to dissipate as we look ahead to next week, back to the low 30s. The showers, though, will be hanging around into the start of February. Ipswich, a pretty similar 7-day outlook. Cooler on Monday with the showers drying up on Thursday. Here on the Gold Coast, a touch cooler for us with temperatures forecast in the high 20s. We'll have the chance of a thunderstorm sticking around until Monday, with showers persisting after that. Looking like a dry weekend just ahead. And out on the sunny coast, heavy rain on the way for Tuesday and showers easing after that. Mia, I am off to get an ice cream. I'm sure you probably are too. This heat wave is the best possible excuse, I think.
Absolutely, that or a cool drink, Bronte. Thank you very much. Well, that is 9 News Queensland for your Saturday. Thank you so much for your company. Don't go anywhere. The Australian Open returns next on Channel 9, the women's finals. It's going to be good. I'm Mia Glover. From all of us, good night.